Hello and welcome to the show. Queensland has plenty of magnificent heritage homes, but how many of them can offer silver service dining, lay claim to having welcomed royalty and even boast their own ghost? Well, this gracious homestead has it all, and I'll show you around a little bit later. Also on the show, creative locals on Stradbroke.
Sitting here makes me feel all kinds of happy. So beautiful, so bright.
Swimming with seals. Tips from a professional Instagrammer and action on the track.
It's the ultimate off-road showdown.
Are you ready to eat my dust?
First, let's catch up with Vic.
You have to feel blessed on a beautiful blue sky day like this on North Stradbroke Island. Straddy for me is a home away from home. Every Saturday during summer I jump on the barge with my girls and come over for nippers. It's a chance to escape the city, get some sand beneath our feet and bliss out. You can't help but appreciate the natural beauty, and it provides plenty of inspiration for the locals. Many creative types call Stradbroke Island home, including husband and wife photographers Angie Sims and Stuart Quinn.
Hello. Hello. Hi, welcome to Straddy.
Thank you.
Hello.
The pair left city newspaper jobs to relocate and start a wedding and portrait business.
Lots of people get married over here because it is so amazing.
Every afternoon the lights turns on here, and so many opportunities for wildlife photography that just pops up.
While photographing some of the island's primary producers, the pair came up with the idea to create a cookbook, Eat, Drink and Be Straddy. It combines wonderful images with recipes drawn from their travels to more than 60 different countries. And it takes advantage of what's fresh and local.
Stu went out with the prawn trawlers overnight.
Yeah, that was fun.
I went out with the honey guys. It took me about 3 weeks to get over that shoot because I got stung about 7 times. We love food, we eat everywhere. Love to cook, putting things together, trying to recreate those flavours. And also I hired my best friend from high school to come and help us sort out the recipes to make sure, test them all, which was a pretty fun few days.
You know what I love? A lot of this, particularly the fish, it's so familiar to me because it's very Straddy, isn't it?
Oh, it's all from Straddy. That was given to us and from our next door neighbour, thrown over the fence, and we're like, right, what do we do with it?
Eat, Drink and Be Straddy is available online. You'll also find it and some of Ange and Stu's photos at Starfish Studio at Point Lookout. The studio belongs to Jess Scott. She's a local artist who finds inspiration in her everyday.
This design's a shoal design from a view of the headland, looking down on all the bait fish. This is the Pippi print that I've done, and this is based on a pig face flower. It's really beautiful being able to draw and create a product that people want in their homes now. And it started with the tea towels, and then it evolved into the fabrics by the metre.
And really, as someone who's grown up loving the place, it's incredible that what you do captures what Straddy is.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear.
Starfish Studio is open each Saturday to Monday and by appointment at other times. A tea towel is a lovely memento of my visit. I'm staying at Pandanus Palms, which is a Point Lookout holiday resort with 2 and 3 bedroom villas set high on the hill looking across the water. In its grounds is a restaurant and bar called Wales Way, where you might notice Jess's influence in the decor and staff uniform. The meals here are a work of art too. The island really is at its best at sunset. Look at that, the perfect Straddy view and Straddy on a plate. In fact, it's freshly caught mullet. Oh, I think I'm set.
After the break, I'm diving in with some very cute characters. Well, a rainy day on the coast can put a dampener on the fun, but it doesn't have to rule out a swim. And the characters I'm about to dive in with love getting wet, rain, hail or shine. I've come to Sea Life Sunshine Coast in Mooloolaba to take part in one of their most popular activities, swimming with seals. But before I jump in the water with these guys, I really should get to know them.
Sammy, this is the beautiful Tico. You're welcome to give her as many pats as you'd
She
like
is
out here
very
this morning. Isn't she gorgeous?
Kirsten Lenski is a sea life marine mammal trainer who loves teaching visitors about these gentle creatures.
These little lines and wrinkles that you see underneath, it's actually Tico's flipper print. So just like we have fingerprints, they got a flipper print as well.
Yours is a bit bigger than mine.
It is, isn't it? Now, to demonstrate just how bristly her whiskers are, I'm actually going to get her to tickle the palm of your hand, Sammy.
All right.
So if you'd like to stretch your right arm up into the air nice and high, and if you bend up the wrist for me, keeping that arm perfectly still, she's going to stretch up and tickle your palm.
Oh, look at that.
Very clever, isn't she?
Oh, you are clever. It's because you're 20 years old now, isn't it?
Lots of experience.
Tico is an Australian sea lion, part of an endangered species, but there is something we can do to help.
Raising awareness through facilities like this and getting people excited and in love with them, helps people to become a bit more passionate about them in the wild as well. These seals are also incredibly strong in their front flipper and their shoulder region. Beautiful work, team. We're fortunate that they're a really curious animal and they're very clever, so the training itself is quite easy.
And what do you love about working with the seals?
I love everything about it. Just spending time with such a beautiful animal on a daily basis is incredible. It just feels like hanging around at home with your own animals and your own family.
Well, I'm about to go hang out with these guys too, and I can't wait. Every day you take a seal for a walk, that's for sure. Come on. Woo! You're a bit curious there. Come on.
To be able to pass on why I love them and why they are so important in our ecosystem to other people and to see them sort of really take that on and become passionate about it themselves, that's the best day for me. I can't think of anything better.
Sea Life Sunshine Coast offers a range of special encounters with marine animals. There are a number of seal experiences from which to choose, or if you're feeling brave, there's always the option to snorkel or dive with the sharks.
Oh, what an awesome experience. 15 minutes with 8 seals. There's one now. You got to try it. It is amazing.
After the break, join me and my partner Elle on a romantic drive. What's it going to be, Elle? The V8 buggy or the trophy truck?
You've got a lot to learn about romance.
Oh, come on.
Photography was something that I quite liked when I was young, but I was never into the technical aspects of it. My name is Lauren Barth and I'm a professional Instagrammer. What that means is that I travel around working for destinations, tourism boards, sometimes brands, taking pictures to promote them on my Instagram account. I actually downloaded Instagram and got into Instagram before I knew it was about photography. So originally I was taking pictures on an iPhone. Once I realised that I liked that and I really liked the community on the platform, I actually bought a camera to get better at Instagram, which is quite opposite to how a lot of people do it. My process when I'm taking pictures for Instagram is to obviously first go out and take pictures, and I do a lot of that. I'm travelling, I'm always shooting sunrise and sunset most days. I shoot throughout the day depending on where I am. I take my memory card back to my computer and I edit using Photoshop. I've tried my hand at a lot of different styles, and if time were not an issue, I would just be playing around with photography all day, every day. Being a travel photographer, landscapes are obviously something I'm really into. Playing more with underwater photography at the moment, and just everything really. The reason why I love living on the Gold Coast and why it's where I choose to have my base is because it's familiar to me. I was born here, but it's also just a really beautiful destination and there's a lot of depth to it. There's a lot more to the Gold Coast than many people realise. I obviously love the beaches and I live very close to the beach here in Main Beach. It's just the natural beauty of the place and the fact that it is a tourism destination, so it's always hopping and vibing.
Are you a Sunday driver who's secretly a speed demon? Get yourself to Offroad Rush, and release the rev head at circuits across southeast Queensland. Offroad Rush is owned by Chris Weston, a die-hard competitive dirt racer. He started the business to share the thrill of racing with absolute rookies, like me and my partner, Elle Rowland.
So today you've got two choices. You've got the trophy truck or the V8 buggy. So we'll flip a coin. Ladies first, you want heads or tails?
I reckon heads.
Heads? Tails?
Tails for me then.
I know. Let's see what you got.
Tails it is!
No!
Okay.
All right, your pick.
I like the look of the V8 buggy. That's mine.
You've got the trophy
No,
truck.
it's good. I like it. It's white and it's big. Yeah.
Okay, let's get cracking. Offroad Rush supplies all the gear to look the part, and while Elle cools her heels, I'm hitting the track first. I am so excited to get into one of these little beasts. Talk to me about these machines.
Yeah, they're very cool, mate. They're actually V8 off-road buggies. And this particular one that you're driving today, we actually race this one as well.
Oh, so it's not a mock-up?
She's fair dinkum, mate. I love this sport and I love off-road racing, and that's why I started this business 15 years ago. And how I started was I took a few mates for a spin and I saw their reaction on how much they love hopping in these cars, and I get to experience it every day. So when people leave here, they're on a high.
Yeah, good.
Lift off.
Oh! Where are we going?
That's the corner, man.
Yeah.
Straight through.
Loving this.
All the way, brother. Keep going. Keep going. All the way to the drum. Keep going. That's it.
Who signs up for these kind of experiences?
The good thing is with these cars, anybody, so you can have a 12-year-old kid driving it, a person without a driver's licence. We had an 84-year-old granny come out and we called her Super Gran because she was awesome.
Okay, surely I can outdrive Super Gran? Yeah, maybe not.
Harder. Out wide. Out wide.
Sorry.
You're doing good, brother.
Sorry, man.
No, it's all good.
How was it?
What do you reckon, mate?
How was it?
Hey?
You hit that bin over there
I
and,
hit
and you hit a cone and you lost control.
All you've got to do is hit less cones and spin out less than once, and
right.
you've won this.
No, I'm pretty sure I've got that. I've got it.
Right. Elle's turn in the trophy truck. She's in the hands of Chris's dad, Reese.
Pretty good fun, isn't it, eh? There you go, that's it, good. Great job.
Trophy trucks are looked upon as like the top of the range, especially in America. You know, you got 800 horsepower thumping through the desert, and they will go all day and nothing stops them. If there's holes or trees or rocks or whatever's in front of you, you just keep it flat out. They're amazing, amazing vehicles.
Come on, Elle. Not going to the 60 zone. Come on, give us some. Oh, it's like driving Miss Daisy.
Up you go, keep going. Go, bit harder. That's it, bit harder. Now take it off. Yeah, good girl, well done. Great,
That was
keep it in there.
amazing. It was scary, it was exciting. I want to do it again soon because I just felt out of control and it's a good feeling, so wow! Let's go again, let's go again!
Offroad Rush has dirt racing circuits on the Gold Coast and Caboolture. The website lists all of the extreme off-road packages on offer, and you can book online. If you're a bit shy to take the wheel, you can always strap in for a hot lap or two with the boys. Buckle up. He's so calm, my heartbeat's like throbbing out of the car.
I didn't feel safe, but at the same time I did.
No, that's
Yeah,
great, isn't it?
that was crazy.
Wow. That is insane, mate.
You get much dirt?
That is absolutely insane.
After the break, the homestead with 170 years worth of history to share. Tell me a little bit about this beautiful wallpaper, John.
Well, this is the original wallpaper put in by Mrs. Lumley Hill in the early 1900s. It's hand-printed wallpaper, extremely rare and definitely worth preserving.
At first glance, Kaminya, 75 minutes west of Brisbane, is a typically modest little country town. There's the pub, of course, a public park, and a post office. But what you may not expect to find is this gracious old girl. Built in the 1840s, Bellevue Homestead is a National Trust listed home. According to owner John Dingle, it survived more than the passing of time. Bellevue hasn't always been at this location. Tell me a bit about the history.
Well, Bellevue itself was part of the original Wivenhoe Run, which was 38,000 acres, and it went from here down to Fernvale. After the 1974 flood, they decided to shift the whole homestead up into the town, 7 kilometres, and it was cut into 7 pieces, put on the back of trucks and brought up to the top of the hill.
What was rescued has been beautifully restored.
Come in here, and this is Mrs. Lumley Hill's bedroom, and it's named
On Sundays, John leads hour-long history tours of Bellevue.
She put this wallpaper in, and she survived 2 husbands by 16 years, and then running the place herself.
Wow.
So a very capable lady.
So she was one of the ladies of the manor,
Yes,
as
definitely.
it were.
Yes, she was born in Newstead House. They entertained lavishly. They had plenty. They were very social. They had plenty of visitors and so on here.
One rather unwelcome visitor appeared to Mrs. Lumley Hill in the dead of night.
Mrs. Lumley Hill had racehorses, and she had some Melbourne Cups here as well. A trainer came with one of her racehorses one evening, and he was talking to himself, couldn't make himself understood. He didn't come in for tea, and they went looking for him, couldn't find him. But when everybody went to bed at night, Mrs. Lumley Hill was woken up in the middle of the night, and she saw a man dripping wet hanging on to the post of her four-poster bed, shaking the bed, pointing down to the river.
The next day, searchers found the trainer's body in the river. He'd fallen from his horse and drowned. But Mrs. Lumley Hill's version, her story, was believed?
Yes, well, it's been handed down from generation
generations.
to generation.
Yeah.
So it's sort of part of the history of the place. Yes.
Besides a ghost, Bellevue bedrooms have welcomed living legends. Banjo Patterson is said to have stayed here. The well-known and well-to-do were entertained in grand style. Wow, this is a surprise, isn't this lush? It's beautiful.
Yes, this is the formal dining room. It's done like a stately home of England with panel walls to the dado. So you've got cedar surrounds and silky oak insert panels, and the tongue and grooves are Queensland pine, but specially selected, no knots, no joins.
By appointment, Bellevue hosts elegant dinners. The table seats up to 15 and is set with silverware and china used in the 1800s. What would they have been serving, John? Do you know?
Yeah, well, these would be meat trays covered to keep the meat warm.
Meat off the property?
Yes,
no doubt.
Yes, they killed their own stock and went hunting for game and so on.
Some interesting conversations would have been had around this table, I'm sure.
Yes, well, they were a very high-profile family. The story goes that Mrs. Lumley Hill entertained the Prince of Wales when he came here, but she was very annoyed that he didn't stay overnight because she'd actually prepared for him in the...
Changed the sheets and everything, I think.
Yes, and actually built a separate bathroom for him.
And he didn't stay. How rude.
Yes.
While royalty and celebrities were feted, it was a different story for the household staff. And this is the homestead's rustic kitchen, which is quite a contrast to that beautiful dining room with its cedar slab walls, corrugated iron, and there's quite charred ceiling in here, which is probably due to all the meals that were cooked on the range. You can almost hear the clank of pots and pans and the bustle of all the servants. Bellevue Homestead is at Caminia, about 75 minutes drive from Brisbane. Check the website for details of guided tours and events. For other ideas on getting out and about, head to our website or keep up with our travels on Facebook and Instagram. And for more ways to spend your leisure time, head to the Queensland Rail Travel website and queensland.com. Now here's a lovely way to end a visit to Bellevue Homestead, tucked away on this veranda with some freshly baked scones and a piping hot pot of tea. But that's all we have time for. I do hope you've enjoyed the show, and join us again next time for more Queensland Weekender. Bye for now.